It's a theory. It's a controversy. It's a fallacy. No, it's just a presentation. The most controversial topic is an assumption. It's based on the past and an unknown future. So what's new? Life is made up of a bunch of unknown decisions. This is one of those times. Your plans have changed before, haven't they? That's because you don't live in an ideal world, a perfect world. What is the 4% withdrawal rate? As already mentioned, the 4% rule is many things. While often designated as a safe withdrawal rate, it's also misleading. A different video explains how the 4% is not guaranteed for your money not to run out. Safe withdrawal, not a guarantee. Come on. Do not view finances as complicated. Don't view them as complicated, especially complicated math. Don't view it that way. I've already told you financial education is multiple choice. It's a puzzle. Puzzles are fun. They might be complicated, but they're fun. View financial math as fun. Critical thinking or simple math. Simple math. In other words, the 4% rule is a supposed safe withdrawal, but it's also used as income need for retirement. Two sides of the coin. Dave's point brought up the two sides. Dave's point wasn't so much the 8% of value that you can withdraw. Dave's point was trying to get you prepared for retirement. His value of always doing it, he knows it wasn't correct. Even at 12%, he knows it's not correct because if it doesn't work for 4%, it can't work for 8%. Again, you can call that simple math. You can call it a puzzle. Don't think of it as complicated. We often use analogies, examples, and that creates problems when we do it improperly, incorrectly, or for the other person not to fully comprehend the analogy. They take it in a different perspective, a different way. Financial advisors represent the 4% concept as a future income need using simple math. So 1 over the 4% is 25 times your salary. $40,000, $1 million. $1 million, 4%, 40,000. They use it as the relationship, and it's very, very problematic. The very first thing you should say is, when does your 25 kick in? Say when you're 50 and getting close to retirement? If that's the case, how does it teach you to start saving earlier? Do you start it off when you're young at 20 years of age and you're freshly out of college and you're starting to work? 40,000? Are you going to say that in 10 years you're going to still be making it? It is presented as income. And income, presenting that as your income, is the biggest mistake that anyone can tell you. You want to save for retirement. Income has nothing to do with it, not even in retirement. And again, now if we take Dave's perspective of 8%, that means you may only need $500,000. It's simple math. It's a puzzle. It's you. It's you. And you need to be aware of all of this. So the question is, wasn't that fun? Come on. Did you enjoy it? The math is simple. and misleading. But it's useful for you, for now, and for the future. This is the problem. No one understands personal finances is not simple math. Everyone presents it as simple math, and it's not simple math. It's financial math. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. 4% out. You need to have $1 million saved up. You're making a comparison. I can't save to get to $1 million. It takes the joy away. Money is not what makes you happy. Regrets, you enjoyed your time while you were spending your money. Your regret is not having had the education. So, analogies, their comparisons, I already showed you the 4% as it applies to income. The question is, when do you start the $40,000, the $1 million income viewpoint? It's different from just trying to dream of being a millionaire. You're dreaming of dreams are great. You want to dream of being that millionaire. Then you got to work for it. Don't think about, I need $1 million. You're going to start worrying. Who wouldn't? The math is simple that I've shown you. The question is it right? Do you agree with the numbers? It is right math, simple math. It is financial in this particular case. Do you agree with the numbers? That's the question. It's questions. Language is what financial education is. Financial literacy is asking the right questions. One reason why finances are not simple math, our mind, life, the psychology of money. The psychology of money. In essence, I get Social Security such that $40,000, really it's $50,000, for me, is fine. For me, it's fine. Not necessarily for you, but for me, it's fine. But it's $1 million that makes it, it's $1 million that makes me feel financially independent. Social Security pays, I don't get $40,000 in the Social Security, but I only need $40,000 to live. I get Social Security. I can take in some of my annuity that I told you I have. And I can sell some of my stocks and come up with the $40,000 easily and to live on it. But in my mind, it's the $1 million that gives me that financial security, that financial independence. It's not the, is my money going to run out? 4% rule says it will. I don't even focus on that. Who does? We focus on the now. We think about the future. And as I said, plans don't always go. Even with $1 million, let's just say cancer, some sort of illness, sickness, can drain your money that fast. But we don't think about those. We do need to plan for them. We do need to plan for them. While I sleep, I can earn 12%. So I can withdraw 8% of $500,000 while I'm confident that with the 8% withdrawals, I'm afraid of relying on $500,000, $500,000. I can withdraw it. $40,000, 8%, simple math. I feel good. It meets it. And I feel I could do this the rest of my life. But honestly, psychologically, I fear $500,000 is not enough. Do you think knowing any of what I've told you would change for me? No. It wouldn't, because I do not know of unforeseen bills, such as medical, a new car. I've just put the roof over my head in retirement. It's part of the reason why I had to take out some money last year. It is psychological. $1 million makes me feel better than $500,000, even knowing if I could live forever on $500,000. When you're young, you have no idea of how much money you're going to need for retirement. You're just starting out. You're living off of, we'll say, $40,000. They talk about 80%. I personally spend more in retirement than I do while I was working. Why? Because I travel. I'm still paying taxes. So again, $40,000 4% rule does not cover taxes. That's an income, but it's not enough because I pay taxes. Financial education is multiple choice. Multiple choice. Do you want to know why the 4% rule is misleading? Are you sure? Okay, then we need to get into much more math. A little bit more math. Do you remember the comment from this video? Do you remember how the follow-up video I said that it has flaws? The math is too simple. In other words, just because you don't know the future, you can minimize your worry with a plan. The 4% rule is based on income more than withdrawals. Having the $1 million. If you have $500,000 and you're using the 4% rule, $20,000, can you live on $20,000? It's a withdrawal rate based on income. This is the reason why you need to start early with the understanding, because if it's not enough money to withdraw and live on, how do you build your money up? Again, it's based on income. 8%, now I got my $40,000. But is $500,000 enough? I'm not going to say it's not. And even if it is today, doesn't mean it's going to be there. But psychologically, for me, I've already said, I would have a problem with $500,000. Going back to the 4%, and the reason why it's not even why it's misleading, the market goes up and down, up and down. It fluctuates. The 4% rule, the percentage, how much you get to withdraw to include inflation. You remember the comment? $100 goes down 50%. So let's look at the $1 million. We've already looked at it. It's $40,000. $1 million is $40,000. We'll use the exact same math. The market goes down 20%. That means you have $800,000. $800,000. Do you take out 4%, which is going to give you $32,000 and not enough money because you need $40,000 to live on? Or do you take out 5% to get 5% of 80,000, 4% rule, 5, it's only good for the first number. So it's based off of withdrawal income. Psychologically, I'm told I can live off of 4%. It drops down to 800,000. I'm now going to 5%. I don't know what next year has in store, if it's going to go down again. And if I withdraw 4% and I'm withdrawing 5%, what do you think that does to me in the mind? And okay, $500,000. If it drops down to 20% and I'm living off of 8%, as a for instance, do you see the psychology? Do you see how the 4% is not 4%, it's now 5%, and we don't know what's going to happen next year, so we become afraid, and we have to reevaluate. Do we go back to work? If it happens in the first year, which is 2008 timeframe where people came back to work, that's one thing. Imagine if it's in your fourth year. Oh, by the way, remember, 5% of the 8, but I still have to include inflation. Just because the market goes down doesn't mean inflation stays put or goes down. Inflation still goes up. So we still need the same amount of money. That means instead of being 5%, I've just increased it. This is bringing in the complexity. Simple math, 800,000, 5%. So my question is it a 4% rule now or a 5% rule? It's a fallacy. It's a theory. No, it's a presentation. If 8%, Dave's 8% withdrawal of 8% is going to deplete your money faster, you're thinking 4%, and it's now 5%, and it's going to now deplete it faster as well. Does it matter if it's days faster or the 5% faster? Does that really matter? Depletion is depletion. No money is worry. It's not, it is psychological. It's not quite so simple as to say, oh, it's a 4% rule. The comment was perfect. It shows you that there's flaws in the 4% rule. 4% is now 5%? No, we still call it the 4% rule. Okay, so now I'm depleting my money faster, just like with Dave's. Okay, maybe it's 2 years faster, 5 years faster. Who cares? My financial advisor doesn't care. The only one that cares is me. It's my money. You, it's your money. That's what matters. Words and numbers. Words and numbers. Do you see where financial education should be taught from first grade all the way through 12th? Do you see where 12 years of financial education, financial math, is far better than 12 years of simple math? Oh yes, you might take algebra and even calculus. But the bottom line is, what is that going to help you for? Engineering? Okay, good. You're going to work, say, as an engineer, let's just say 30, maybe 40 years. But you still have to live. Financial math is more powerful than calculus, algebra. I'm going to do a little analogy for you right now. 1 year financial education in school, 1 year, which some of the states are doing, is how everyone treats retirement. We base it on today. Retirement is based on today. I'm 20 years old. I don't think about retirement. I take financial education in school. It meets a requirement. So I'm now 40 years old. Am I thinking about retirement? Maybe. But I'm still thinking about today. I'm 50, maybe I'm starting to think about it. What did that one class do for me? It didn't give me a habit. It didn't teach me much. This is where financial education for 12 years is very important. Keep in mind, the country that you live in is in debt. Most of you are in debt. I do have debt still. I have debt. And remember, inflation may be incorporated into the 4% rule or the 5% rule or whatever we're going to call it now, but it doesn't mean that you're going to have sufficient funds. It just means that it's in the theory, the calculation. 20% drop? Well, start thinking how you will think. And keep in mind, it has happened. You don't know when you're going to retire. Oh, I'm going to retire on this year here. Well planned. Planned. People came back to work. That's a fact. Is this an ideal world? What else does the 4% rule assume? It assumes nothing will happen. Nothing will happen to you, your property, additional funds, needing additional funds. Everything has to stay constant, flat. Is that really going to happen where it stays flat, nothing else happens? You heard how Riley of France wants to start traveling now because her daughter may be moving to another country. Can the same thing happen to you where, oh, even if it's a car ride, it's still extra wear and tear on the car, gas that you have to put in? Riley thought the comment was confusing and complicated, loaded with unknown terminology. What do you think about my explanation? By the way, the 4% rule does not include taxes, as I've said. It doesn't include taxes. I withdraw $40,000, I'm paying taxes. Figure 10%. I now have 36. Not including taxes, it helps deplete your funds faster. This is just a starting point for you. All of this information is a starting point for you. What you need to decide is, do you want financial independence? Do you need financial education? Do you want to follow? Do you want to rely on hope? Knowing this, you should know why it's better to start saving early.